All right, my friends, I have to admit, probably my favorite reworks I've seen yet. And Nute Gunray, for example, is not really a character I feel much of a connection to. I never really cared for Nute to have a rework. It's like that rework that I needed, though, and I didn't know that I needed it because it is super true to Nute's character. And then Count Dooku, I think he's going to have some pretty dope synergy now with Mother Talzin, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I think that will work, but I think it's something you're going to want to look at is bringing in Talzin into some separatist team with Count Dooku leadership. And so let's get to these posts. We've got two reworks coming down the pipeline with Count Dooku and Nute Gunray. I'm not going to read everything to you. I just want to kind of go through some of the highlights. I'm sure by now you guys have had time to digest these posts. In case you this did matter to you, they're returning ability materials on Nute Gunray's leader ability. I mean, I wasn't using Nute like literally anywhere. I've never really paid attention to that character, and so I guess I'll get a few ability mats back for, you know, leveling them up for back when I was trying to beef my GP for territory battles, I suppose. But if that mattered to anyone, there you have it. You're going to get them back. And so let's start with Count Dooku. And so Count Dooku's getting what they're calling a tune-up. This feels more like a rework to me. They're not blowing up his kit like they are with Nute Gunray. Like, Nute Gunray is a totally different character now. But Count Dooku, he is getting some new animations, which to me is kind of like, if you're getting new animations, you're getting a rework. And so changes in green. We're going to be changing the bonus, the double chance to attack again from Jedi to Galactic Republic. Attacks have 50% chance to inflict stun ability for one turn and can't be countered or evaded. And so we're adding that evasion. That's fantastic. The animation pretty much looks the same. This one does too. We're adding shock to force lightning and 50% chance to shock and stun another enemy doubled if the target is Galactic Republic. And so additional synergy for Galactic Republic, which still has that Jedi synergy, by the way, or Jedi anti-Jedi bonus in there for everyone except for the Old Republic Jedi, pretty much, because almost all Jedi are under the Galactic Republic tag. And I'm hoping we get more Jedi under that tag, by the way. CG, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Special number 2. So this one's completely new. Master of Makashi. Count Dooku dispels all debuffs from himself and gains riposte for 2 turns. All non-tank separatist allies gain 15% turn meter and stealth for 2 turns, and so it's kind of like a reverse taunt where you're gonna force the tank to taunt, and it's gonna leave everyone stealth. And riposte is attacks out of turn, ignore protection, can't be copied, and that's cool. And look at the animation. I love this. This is the animation he does in Attack of the Clones right before he attacks Yoda and Anakin and General Kenobi and Anakin. So really, really cool. And then we've got a leader ability. They blew this up. Nefarious Connections. Separatist allies have plus 35% counter chance and plus 50% tenacity the first time they are stunned or dazed. Whenever an enemy falls below 100% health, they inflict tenacity down and healing immunity on themselves, which can't be evaded or resisted. And all separatist allies gain 10% offense, stacking max 50%. So this is what I'm interested in, and this is what I want to talk about, because that healing immunity that comes is going to make Plague so much better, because the only way you can get rid of the Plague is to heal back up to 100%. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting you. This is going to prevent you from cleansing Plague. And so these two together, obviously, I don't think this is necessarily going to be, you know, countering Darth Revan per se, although there is something I want to talk about in a second that might. That is really intriguing for Grand Arena, Territory Wars, maybe a great defensive team, throwing Dooku in there with Talzin. I'm going to want to try it out, see what happens, see if it throws people off. Makes me really excited. And then the second part of this leader ability I'm really interested in is you are not inflicting healing immunity or tenacity down on these characters. They do it to themselves. And so if you look at Bastila, you've got that corrupted battle meditation, right? Which prevents your enemies from inflicting debuffs on you. It doesn't prevent yourself from inflicting debuffs on yourself, however, and so it's kind of like a loophole to get around corrupted battle meditation to inflict a debuff, and so maybe that's going to be valuable against Bastila Shan Fallen. Probably not enough to make up for how OP Darth Revan is, but there you have it. And then we added a little bit into Flawless Riposte. We've got gains 15% turn meter and recovers 15% protection when Dooku attacks outside of his turn. And so that's up from 10%, I think it was, and then that 15% turn meter gain. That's very good. And so Dooku looking very good. I'm really excited to see how he works. There's a lot of other ways to kind of trigger that healing immunity to get people down below 100% health. But I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to do with Talzin in particular. Maybe not a full Night Sister team, but just throw Talzin in there and let Plague become that much better. Really, really cool mechanic. All right, let's get on to Nute Gunray. Nute Gunray is a character I am now super stoked about. I'm going to start farming this guy. This is like one of the most creative kits I think I've seen. Forget everything you know about Nute Gunray, which is probably nothing. So basically, pretend like he didn't exist, and now we've got a new character, Nute Gunray, and he is going to use... He's going to give the enemies an ability that they have to choose whether or not to use. And if they use it, it's going to buff all of the enemies, or all of the Nute Gunray's allies. And if they don't use it, then it's going to spread like wildfire and work against them as well. So check this out. The changes are highlighted in green. I'm just going to read the whole thing in this case. Basic hard bargain. Deal physical damage to target enemy. That's the only thing that's different. This will do damage. If the target had extortion, reduce the cooldown of motivate by 1. So motivate is a future ability, and extortion is going to be that new ability. It's actually not even a debuff, although I'm wondering if they'll have an icon to indicate who has it. They probably will. Special number 1, dubious dealings. Grant extortion ability to target enemy. You are granting an ability to a target enemy. If they already had extortion, grant it to the weakest enemy who does not have it. Then, inflict speed down on all enemies for 2 turns and deal 20% max health damage to enemies with extortion, which can't be evaded. Enemies who use extortion grant profit to all separatists. Okay, and then look at extortion. Extortion is remove extortion, recover 10% health, and grant separatist enemies profit, which you kind of already saw. And profit is going to be plus 10% critical chance and critical damage per stack, max 50% until the end of the battle. And so, very simply put, extortion is going to be an ability you give to the enemy. When it's on your side, you have to decide, am I going to use this ability when it is my turn? And if I don't use it, then it's going to start spreading. And then look at that, 20% max health damage to all enemies who have extortion. That's a lot of max health that's going to be dealt to you. And especially that's probably going to be a really great counter to Padme teams, for example, because they've got so much protection up that's going on them. And so it's going to work underneath that protection to undermine them. Now, if you use extortion, great. You're going to recover that 10% health, and you're going to, in turn, grant profit to the separatists, which can stack up to 5 stacks to 50% critical damage and critical chance. So catch 22 there, and very sensible. I mean, it's like Nute Gunray is just putting you in a pickle. He's putting you in a pickle. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna choose? Are you gonna help me, or are you gonna hurt yourself? Your choice. Seems like a double negative, but that's the choice that you've got. So very cool mechanic. We've never seen anything quite like that, and I'm honestly very pleased with it. I think it's going to be really fun to use, especially in Grand Arena. It doesn't seem like an arena thing to me, but definitely probably taking a new angle to these separatists that is going to be really valuable in Grand Arena for especially defense, I think. Special number 2 is Motivate, and this is the one where we've got ways to reduce those cooldowns. Dispel all buffs on target enemy and increase their cooldowns by 1, which can't be evaded. If the target had extortion, call all other separatist allies to assist. So another slap in the face for having extortion and leaving it on there. It's kind of forcing you to buff those separatists in a lot of ways. Or I guess you could risk it. And then we got his leader ability, totally different. Backroom, subfridge. Look, I'm going to get crap. I'm sure all of you know that word. You've probably all used that word every day for your whole life, and somehow I've avoided it. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not looking it up. His leader ability, as you can see, is this. Separatist allies have plus 15% speed and potency for each enemy with extortion. Fantastic. And while Nute Gunray is alive, each enemy that ends their turn with extortion dispels their own buffs and grants extortion to another random enemy that doesn't have it. And so another penalty for not cleansing that extortion, so to speak, or utilizing it, you're going to spread it to somebody else, so you're going to be in the same dilemma with them, and you're going to lose all your buffs. That includes that protection up. So very, very good. Unique Viceroy's Reach. And this is a Zeta. Whenever a Separatist ally inflicts a debuff, they also deal 5% max health damage to that enemy, which can't be evaded. And enemies with extortion have minus 30% speed and offense. Yet another slap in the face for having extortion. He's just really, Nute Gunray's he's just digging at you. He's just digging you. And he's not really that much of a threat in and of himself, right? But he's found a way to put you in a pickle. And I think that's fantastic. The first time Nute Gunray is defeated, he is revived with 100% health and turn meter. Every time Nute Gunray is revived, he stealths for 2 turns. And so we're adding that revive mechanic and at 100% health, making it pretty valuable. So, my friends, this is a phenomenal rework. I'm really happy with this. I'm excited to test this out. I think it looks fun to use. It's not going to be arena. I'd be shocked if it was arena. I just don't see this beating Darth Revan. But having this as a defensive team to hopefully trip people up, or using it as an offensive team, I think there's a lot of teams this is probably going to be very valuable against, especially Padme teams right now. That's going to be pretty high on the list. Maybe Bastila teams, which are also going to be, pretty common defensive team you see in there. Any of those teams that really utilize all of that protection up and a lot of, beefy protection mechanics, it's going to be able to undermine them, put them in pickles, and force the enemy to give you all of those buffs. And I'm curious to see how the AI is going to handle that. Well, how is the AI going to be programmed when you've got Nute on offense? Is the AI just going to automatically use extortion, or is it going to try to strategically play that out? Is it going to be a coin flip? Who knows? It will be very interesting to see. So, at the end of the day, really happy with these reworks. Bravo, CG. I think these look really cool. I know this is pretty much, I think this is pretty much all that we're getting for this month, and so let's enjoy it. Hopefully, we're getting these reworks tomorrow with it. They usually do an update most Wednesdays, and so we'll do our best to test those out, and I'll be doing my best to reach out to my people and see if we can get some footage going. I'll do some on the test account and get some otherwise and see where we're going to plug these in, but already I'm seeing I want to check these guys out in Grand Arena. I think this is going to be a great team, especially Nute, to have in Grand Arena, and maybe also utilize Count Dooku with Talzin to prevent people from cleansing Plague. Really good stuff. All right, what do you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Did you know what Nute even did before? Brag about that. Be honest. Did you know what Nute even did before this? I mean, there was like one situation ever, I think, where anybody used Nute, and that was during the Nute Gate, when he randomly was able to just do tons of damage in the heroic tank raid for like a day before they nerfed it. So that's pretty much the only memory I have of Nute ever doing anything or making any noise in this game. So let me know down in the comments below, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and as always, my brothers, don't forget,
my dead body.